and welcome. Thank you for joining us in the post-game discussion. The players are just shaking hands and the batsmen are walking off. But first of all, the Diamond Creek huddle. So one of the batsmen is already far and off towards the end. The other batsman is trailing behind. And there you have the Diamond Creek fielders, and one of the Diamond Creek fielders is actually going around to collect the cones of the boundary line. Someone has collected the stumps, and now we're going to get the shaking of the hands. Well, we have seen a very one-sided affair. This is probably one of the most one-sided contests we have broadcast on Channel 8. Rosanna have been absolutely humiliated. Diamond Creek, being promoted up to this grade after winning the premiership in the lower grade, have come through with the goods. In no small way. No small way. This is a significant statement to the F1 tournament, because it suggests that just because they're the new kid in town, just because they're new to this grade, does not mean that Diamond Creek are to be considered lightweights. They have put up a gigantic victory in a grade that they hadn't previously been in. Having been in the F2 grade, suddenly in this new grade, with all sorts of unknown variables, they have put up a comprehensive performance. It would seem that in terms of actually significantly making statement in terms of what is to be expected from this Diamond Creek team over the course of this season, because they won the semi-final in a tremendous fashion. The grand final was won through a lot of toil and hard work. It was not easy, but they were always ahead of this game. They ended up going through the entire last season only dropping the one game, and now they have come up with a significant performance, and it should send some shivers up the spines of their upcoming opponents later on in this tournament. The other teams in the F1 grade know that this new team, Diamond Creek, is not going to be an easy win. It's not going to be a win at all. They are facing a deep challenge, and Diamond Creek will think that they have a good chance of actually doing well. So let's actually go through this game. We'll start off with the first innings. Diamond Creek batting first. Diamond Creek batting first, ending up on 176 for 3 from their 35 overs. Now, what is significant? Both things are significant. First of all, the fact that they did not lose many wickets. The fact that every time there was a partnership, every time a new batsman came to the crease, they seriously tried to spend a lot of time out of the middle, tried to score runs, and did not do anything foolish. It meant that there were very few opportunities for Rosanna to take wickets, and in the end Rosanna only took 3. But more significant than that, Diamond Creek was scoring very quickly. They weren't just scoring 3 or 3.5 as we've come to expect in these one-day games, but actually scoring at 4, 4.5, and then eventually scoring at 5 runs and over by the end. It was just a wonderfully constructed performance, and they were outstanding with the bat. So, after the first 8 overs, they were going at about 4 runs and over. They were on 36 for no loss. A very good opening partnership with 4 boundaries. Then, tragedy struck when they lost 2 wickets. They lost the 2 openers in successive overs. They went from 38 for no loss to 2 for 39 all of a sudden, and that put some problems, and it set a bit of worry, as though Diamond Creek might not be able to put up a significant performance here. They might just crumble about. They might let this good start go to waste, but they didn't. Instead, the next partnership, the 3rd partnership, was worth 99 runs. It came together in the 10th over, and it left in the 31st over. So, at the drinks break, at the 20th over, they were on 80 for 2, so going at 4 runs per over. Then, there was, by the time we reached the 30th over, they had a score of 134. So they had boosted the run rate over the course of the post-drinks session, from just going at 4 runs and over to going at 4.5 runs and over, and that was through a lot of excellent batting, including 3 boundaries, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scoring shots of 2 runs or more. That showed that even when they were not scoring boundaries, they were getting lots and lots of runs from their shots. The 3rd wicket fell in the 31st over with the scorecard at 138. And then with this next partnership, this 4th wicket partnership, they didn't let up. 1 boundary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scores of 2 or more. And they were able to raise up that score to an incredible 176 for 3. Quite phenomenal performance. To keep increasing the run rate when you have wickets in hand, when you have a lackluster bowling attack you're facing, when you've got your eye in, to actually put in the performance of actually increasing the scoring rate and not allowing the situation to get in front of you, not assuming that the scoring will just happen naturally, but to do all the hard work, the concentration, the execution of actually getting it done and increasing the run rate from 4 to 5 over the course of the next 15 or so overs is just a remarkable show. It shows that actually getting the job done is the most important thing. It's not just about the obvious things. The obvious things like make sure that you have a healthy run rate and wickets in hand for the second half of the innings. But actually to go out and score those runs that you need to create a target, that is where true batsmanship is, and that's what Diamond Creek displayed in barrelfuls today. It was quite marvellous performance. In the end, Rosanna's bowling attack was very substandard. There was nothing particularly bad about it. It just lacked potency, it lacked direction, it lacked motivation, and it often just fell short of what it was actually aiming for. Every time Diamond Creek scored some runs, a boundary or a 2 or a 3, there wasn't really a response from Rosanna. It was as if Rosanna were expecting things to go back in their favour if they held their nerve, they held the line, and they kept going at their plans, and that allowed them to fall into this trap of monotony, so that every time they bowled a bad ball and they were punished for it, they didn't really have a response. They weren't active and responsive in immediate sense, which meant that as things got away from them, they weren't exactly sure what they needed to do, what they needed to change, because there wasn't this immediate directness in terms of actually keeping in touch with the game and following it along and making sure that they were trying to find ways of making the batsmen do things that they were not comfortable with, and protecting the boundaries and the run shots from where the batsmen were doing well. So, 3 for 176 for Diamond Creek in the first innings. Rosanna responded to this. They started off rather slowly. After 6 overs, their score was 6 for no loss, which is fine at the start of a one-day innings. Even if you have a very large target you're chasing, you need to make sure that you have wickets in hand. You need to make sure that you're actually getting into the game and being sensible about it. Then, after 10 overs, they had boosted the score to 24. So they were going at about 2.5 runs per over. They had boosted the runs. 2 boundaries and a 3 allowed them to do this. And then little sundries here and there boosted the score up. But after the 10th over, this is where the problems for Rosanna's batting really came into question. Because in the end, they were doing both of the things wrong. If you're not scoring runs, at least keep your wickets in hand. And if you're losing wickets, at least score some runs so that you are staying in touch with the run rate. But Rosanna were doing both of the things wrong throughout the course of the middle bulk of their innings. They were both not scoring at a significant run rate, and they were losing wickets repeatedly. And in the end, they just ended up floundering in their batting run chase. So the first wicket fell at 25 for 1, and then it continued on for a couple more overs, and then problems happened from the 14th over, a wicket fell, then the 16th over, and then the 17th over, and all of a sudden the score was 35 for 4. They were still going at 2 runs per over. They had lost 4 wickets now, and they were well behind the game. In the post-drinks period, there were attempts at getting back into this game. A few good scoring shots here and there, but for the most part they were held down. They weren't able to increase the run rate from 2 to 2.5 runs per over. It generally stuck round about between 2 and 2.25 runs per over, never really getting any higher. And although that partnership, the 5th wicket partnership, did last for quite a long time, the fact that they were not getting any runs meant that by the time that next wicket fell, the game had been pretty much lost. And that was the time when they needed to come up with some sort of plan. After being 35 for 4 after 17, needing 140 runs after 18 overs, they needed to come up with something special. But in the end, they just, there was too many dot balls, not enough scoring shots, and there was not a clear intention about how they're actually going to go about this run chase. It almost seemed as though they'd given up even up at that point, because they weren't clearly going about this in an aggressive and determined way, just sort of plodding along and waiting for things to happen. So that by the time the 5th wicket fell, and that was at 49. Basically, things were over at that point. There were still 11 overs to go, and it was just a matter of just finishing the game off. There was no chance that Rosanna posed to actually chasing it down. So, at the end of the 24th over, the score was 5 for 53, going at 2 and a little bit runs per over. And then skip ahead to the 30th over. They haven't lost another wicket, and they're only on 63. So they've only scored 10 runs from those 6 overs. And that is pretty much an appreciation of just, they were not clear in what they were actually trying to chase. They were not certain about what they were trying to do. They were just plodding along without a clear plan. Half their teammates are already out, and it was just waiting for the end. And then, right at the very end, there was a crashing and burning. In the 32nd over, 33rd over, and 35th over, 3 more wickets fell, and they were unable to increase the run rate even a little bit. And so they ended up going at only 2 runs per over throughout their entire innings, ending up with a score of 74 for 8 off 35 overs. So throughout the innings, Rosanna's batsmen did not seem to be wanting to go on the charge, not really willing to take the clear decisions in terms of scoring runs. Sure, when there was that occasional loose ball, they definitely went after it with expert aggression, and they often scored some runs from those balls, but they were too infrequent. The real mark of batsmanship is to make runs where they're not otherwise available. To see that a ball is a little bit short of a length. It's not a bad ball, it's not a short ball, it's not something cuttable or pullable, but it is short of a length, and you could work it away or clip it away for a run. And in terms of pushing the balls into the covers to try and get gaps, to get ones here and there was not that intention. Throughout the course of Rosanna's innings, they just seemed to be waiting for that very bad ball to hit a boundary off. And they hit a few boundaries. It was only against the spinners that they were actually thinking proactively, and it resulted in them throwing away at least 1 wicket, and then against the left-arm medium pacer they lost 2 more wickets. And so it was actually the secondary bowlers, not the fast and dangerous openers, but the secondary bowlers who were bowling slower, who were bowling more loose balls, that were getting the wickets, because Rosanna was so in desperate need for more aggressive stroke play that they just tried their best to score from those deliveries, and ended up losing many wickets, and ended up not being able to score enough runs from the deliveries they had available to them, and so they ended up with a 100-run loss. It is quite a significant defeat, all ends up, and now Rosanna will have to start thinking about where they go from here. They've got a 2-day game coming up. Round 2 is a 2-day game, and then there's a 1-day game again for round 3. So Rosanna will have to think about what exactly they're going to have to be doing to come up with something better than what they've done so far. For Diamond Creek, they are in a lovely position. They have played wonderfully well, and they have basically taken all their expectations of this new grade of winning the premiership last year, and have just absorbed it into their spirit, and have just been proud of their work. They have gone about this in just a remarkably professional and serious and mature fashion. They should be very proud of themselves. They've put up truly an expert performance, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to continue playing over the course of this season. Well, that is the end of the post-game discussion. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to wrap up the rest of the post-game show, and then we're going to say goodnight. So here is a photo montage. We'll see you after this break.
The skies are cold and gray. The storm is on its way. The flat horizon, leafless trees, there's nothing far as you can see out here. You shiver like a wave. Your snow boots soles are chafed. You left your heart in paradise. You left it all to roll the dice with me. And I will shake away the cloudy skies with a California lullaby. And when you're frozen with desire, we'll put our toes up to the fire, and I will sing your cares away. Sand between my toes, your hands beneath my clothes. The memories of golden days when we first met and parted ways too soon. Distance lost its flight when you lay down at night. Without a map you chose your heart. Now we are one, but you're still far from home. So let me shake away the cloudy skies with the California lullaby. When you're frozen with desire, we'll put our toes up to the fire, and I will sing your cares away. And when you're frozen with desire, we'll put our toes up to the fire, and I will sing your cares away. I know it feels like spinning wheels, digging you much deeper in the snow. Don't worry, cause the winter thaws, and you will watch the river start to flow. And in that place, the empty space will fill you with a warm embrace, and I will hold you tight until it's home. And I will shake away the cloudy skies with the California lullaby. And when you're frozen with desire, we'll put our toes up to the fire, and I will sing your cares away. So let me take you back to paradise. All you gotta do is close your eyes. And when you're frozen with desire, we'll put our toes up to the fire, and I will sing your cares away.
And welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that photo montage. We are here at the beautiful Coventry Oval. It is 6 PM on the 13th of October 2018, and we have seen the conclusion of the second week of the cricket season. Round 1 of the F1 grade between Diamond Creek and Rosanna has come to a conclusion. Diamond Creek ending up winning by more than 100 runs in a one-day game. Congratulations for Diamond Creek. Their first game in the F1 grade has been an outstanding success. We'll have to wait until next week for more cricket, and until then it is goodbye from us. So you have been watching Channel 8, the local sports network, and I am your host, Chukka Wilson. We'll be back next week for the next round of the cricket, but until then it is goodbye from us. So with that, as the sun is setting and there is a huge shadow being sent all across the Coventry Oval, it is time to say goodbye. So we'll see you next week. It is goodbye from us here at Channel 8, and we'll just have to wait for more cricket, and we'll have to see if we might have to wait a while before we see the next time the Diamond Creek Freeze play, because they don't get to play at Coventry Oval very often, and so we'll just have to wait and see. But that's all for the future. For now, it is goodbye, and we will see you next time. This is Channel 8, the local sports network.
Why even try to justify leaving? Why not just run away? Why even wait and hesitate breathing? Why would you wanna stay? Nothing you say can change the way he feels. Nothing could save you now. So just let this go. Every collapse that came to pass faded out of your memory. All of the times he left you blind, jaded, down on your aching knees. Why won't you see the lies that he's telling? Why don't you give it up and just to let him go? Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Your heart on a string without a wing flying, no one to hold the kite. He let you go, but still you blow by, oblivious to the height. Check out behind and you will find nothing's holding you to the ground. He just let you go. Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet, so take a step and calmly walk away. Don't let him pull you down. Just let him drown alone. Be all land, and someday you will find a truer hand. I know you tried to see his side clearly. I know you gave your all. I know you died a little inside when nobody heard your call. Every mistake you come to make grows and echoes inside your brain. You need to let them go. Shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. street, you're on your feet. So take a step and calmly walk away. Yeah, we're shot down with no sound to the cold ground below. On the side of the street, you're on your feet. So take a step and calmly walk away. Take a step and calmly walk away. There's something missing, this apparition where the light once shined. I know it's hollow, I guess we all know when it's time. With no emotion, a slow explosion with a flash of light. But I won't close my eyes. And we are blinded by it all. And we are waiting for the faded one to fall. There's no surrender. Our last offenders walked away and died. Is this attrition or just submission to the tide? These final moments, our last opponents are upon us now. But I can only see your face. And we are blinded by it all. And we are waiting for the faded one to fall. And we won't stay, we won't go. There is no road to follow. In the cold snow, in our wet clothes, we wave our white flag high. But I'm hearing no reply. And we are blinded by it all. And we are waiting for the faded one to fall. The faded one to fall. Her children sleep, the moments creep away. In stale rooms with diesel fume malaise. The sirens and lights, they pierced the night. stirring up a sleeping appetite. When Katie spoke of crimson smoke and wings, the meadowlarks in ghetto parks would sing. The melody would echo through the air, and travel through the window to her chair. In old shoes, the same views, the gravity of life to weigh her down. In gray dreams, the sky seems larger than it was, or is it because she lost her wings? She can't recall her steady fall from grace, but she was down on solid ground to stay. And somewhere in the journey she found peace, in trading all her dreams for guarantees. In old shoes, the same views, the gravity of life to weigh her down. In gray dreams, the sky seems larger than it was, or is it because she lost her wings? In old shoes, the same views, the gravity of life to weigh her down. In gray dreams, the sky seems larger than it was, or is it because she lost her wings? The sycamore, is there no more to climb? But still she dreams of quiet streams and flying.